It is the close of the witching hour. My dearies, things are just so expedited. I've, I'm adjusting to a newer pace, a newer stride, therefore, probably a wider gait. Therefore, that implies the lunge portion of power walking. You know what I mean? You know where I'm going with this? Okay, we're going to change earrings, okay? Because we need something a little more in touch with the crown chakra. All right. So, what a team over here. What a day, as Erica Badu would say. What a day. You gotta let it linger for a bit. Do you see how wonderful this vintage sweater is? Holy smokes. It's from my mummy. I told her that I love vintage sweaters, cardigans, and all that stuff. Preferably knitted or sweatshirt style. Oh my God. I was just warm. I mean, I was trying to get warm. And I didn't want to wear anything scruffy. So I was just like looking for that in between, like, yeah, okay. I put it on, and oh my God, this is so lovely. Well, more lovely than you can take in this little box over here. Seriously, look like even 90s hand warmer style. You see, it's beautiful. A little off the shoulder. It's so good. So back in the day, things were like, oh, it's actually down here. Holy smokes! People were so precise about fashion that like if you're one of the prim and proper preppy crew, then this shoulder seam should fall right about here. So it was very, I followed the path that everybody said to do this and that. So, but I secretly loved these drop down sweaters. So good. Anyway, this is the Bell Project where my divine guides are welcomed in. Magical angels of love and light to divinely intervene as needed for my highest good, aka the highest good. Thanks so much. And we're sipping on tea. Oh my gosh, what? I didn't even realize it. I was just looking for a cup. Anyway, it's tea. I feel like we're working with that energy though. And energy vampresses. Yeah, so there's a little dark side to this Empress, is what they're saying. Anyway, the Bell Project. Its objectives could be pluralized, and resources also possibly pluralized. I would think so, but if we're going to narrow down, fighting the big boss, what do we have to, like, the big boss other than self? What do we have to isolate, like, make sure, keep in check that we have the right tools to combat that boss? So, on the left side, I have Crone of Water. That's the King of Cups. It's in reversal. This can have several meanings. First off, I'd like to give more prominent position to Archangel Michael, or Christ Consciousness, or Spirit and Cash, on the recipient side, helping us like be the doorman, the gatekeeper, pit crew, basically, upon check-ins, upon the recipient side, that inbox. Okay, so if there's like instantaneous healing, instantaneous support as needed. This is a safety net right here, present. You know why? Because when the King of Cups in its hedonistic form, and it's like low down, dirty pentacle energy. When it's in its reversal, that means that this is an emotional manipulator. I've seen this plenty of times. Different repetitions, different people. It's the same shiz, but it's getting easier, let me tell you. So the objective is to, and these are low-key sidekicks. Some maybe closeted, some dormant. They don't even freaking realize it. But the area of manipulation in which, like, you assert logical formula into the area of emotions and intuitive bodies, it's highly manipulative. I feel like detrimental. So it's like this faux doctor, um, or trying to like gaslight someone based on their strategies, their methods, their interpretation of whatever intuitive, like whatever you're going through in your feelings. So it's this is like spirit pulling the like old one too on me, because they're like I know, you know what the formula is. When you forego something, you find some, like, this kind of energy, old energy, um like something that you've said goodbye to, and if it arises again and you say goodbye to it, that means like something usually like better arrives. Well, it's not 100% like different. It is quite the same flavor. um, so it's just like that old one too. Oh, we got a second one in here. Okay. So, like at this point, going through several variations of that like hedonistic bullshit energy. I've noticed, oh, you know what the difference is? The last one was actually older than me, and this one is actually younger than me. And I would not expect it from, like, you tend to stereotype certain things, simplify. Like, I'm a, I'm a stranger to that too. But like, that's why I'm more into older people. And then, so my first batch of it was with older um masculines. And then so I was like, okay, maybe I should be more open to younger guys. Okay. And no. it that's where it, that's like you proved me right. Mm. But so I like this time in isolation. I've been proven several times before. Tina, you are doing a great job doing what you're doing. I know it doesn't feel so good, but you're identifying what you need to identify. Now, I started this reading because I feel like I wouldn't say failed, but I feel like I could do better in tuning more into my environment, and remembering that I need to play a part. It's I don't know, it's like several things that how do I say it? There are definitely several objectives, I feel like, for this. Some self, like, motivated, like to cover certain grounds. Like, if I'm here, I might as well do this too. It would be so much more beneficial to work on my soft skills or certain skill sets, develop and or discover some, while I'm carrying out this, like, this work for spirit. So anyway, long story short, on the right side, I have the wisdom card here. It is the High Priestess in reverse. So there are many polarities to this. It's like, well, there's dark high priestesses that I am about to tag, identify. When you like study birds out in the wild or whatever, you tag them or whatever. So it's like, it's no harm, no foul. Like, I'm keeping an eye on things for the greatest good. So it's not like marking off killings, but this is just observing the ecosystem and identifying who the troublemakers are. So in essence, like, I'm a glorified cosmic nanny. a house mom. And, you know, it's like there's some, you know, unruly kids in it. And, you know, like some will try to do you dirty and test your patience or whatever, but then they always like get put in their place, almost with a sense of immediacy, and it becomes quite personal with its custom made um uh um uh I don't know, solution. So um So it's like, go with the flow of things. So if I am to identify those, then I must go like underground as well. I must be within that environment to find it. Like I'm not going to go to what I don't know, like um Disneyland or the ice cream shop or whatever, you know, like to try to find these people. Like these people have other activities in mind. Um no, I'm just giving you a generalization of things, but that is the objective here. And it's like it takes one to know one kind of energy. So there's a common thread between the unruly measures of those who manipulate with intuitive bodies and those that are also in link with like, you know, um moon magic, but like they abuse it, you know? It's like um but you see how these link together. Oftentimes these kind of energies date each other. Because like it's kind of supportive. It's like, well, I might as well get a match similar to what I'm doing. Because you know, logically we may have a common goal, but more so, it makes me like be able to sleep at night and do dirty things because it's like this like sometimes like people will find others with flaws in order to mediate their own. Like, oh, I'm not so bad after all. You know, like on a daily basis when you're looking at that reflection, like you're worse, you know? And so, or like I have that moral support to keep on doing what I'm doing. So that's the bullshit that we're talking about. All right. So this is the Bell Project. Ring, ring, ring. This is without the E in it. This is kind of like the notifications part of it. The beauty of it with the E is more so saying like, you're doing a wonderful job. Like it's such a simplified task that it seems like it leaves no room for creativity or fun or flexibility within its area, like its span of solutions. But Tina, you have turned like you are like the most favorable one in like put in this position because you know how to flex without it going over anyone's head. Like, you know what I mean? Like it can be initially disturbing or like rile someone up or trigger someone, but like how do I say it? It's like, why didn't I come up with the answer? Like I've been always focused on this or that. So it's like, you know, there's some kind of like mesmerized quality of admiration, but there's just like a lot of toil within these individuals. So I'm not giving them the get out of jail free card. This is just more like looking at the reality of the situation, the mechanics of, you know, a singular being. I've been there, like in that kind of energetic, probably more like a snapshot than like a span of time. But you know, like I can humble myself to say that I've had several snapshots of that instance. So it's kind of easier to find these people, um, uh, you know, just without stressing over like, okay, pulling out the map, pulling out the red lines, etc. It comes quite natural. And so, all right, my divine panel, what do you want to tell me? Manifestation Monday, positive affirmations Monday, and we've got here Imbolc 17, the star card in reverse. So this is healing on multiple levels, but this is, I wouldn't say downgrading, I would say like descending, like knowing that you have to heal like a 3rd degree burn, not just through surface level shiz. You know what I mean? Like with these people that are going through like dark times, that have gone through dark times, so much so that it has aggravated their present moment in like figuring out like how to run their lives, is it's like it has maimed their ability to like respond to life with like vigor, like wholesome vigor. So just looking at the like concepts around that, you kind of like forgive like you know, when we have bad days, sometimes they're bad phases, bad chunks in our lives. So it's kind of like straining that out while you're I don't know, making butter, cheese, or whatever, something very simplified. So there's a lot of hope within like these measures. So we're digging deep. It's almost like Dark Night of the Soul work, but it's like finding that inner light. So there's a descending in it's not just root cause analysis. It's not as mechanical as that, but the aims are higher in like solving as we go, like soothing as we go, and so that's the objective, is ultimately healing, like inner healing. But this is like also in-house healing. We're housed under the same roof, and you know, you don't control other people, but you know, expanding their awareness is quite promising, is what they're saying. um yeah, I already know how long change, like iterations of issues occurred in order for me to learn and learn and learn through the repetition and the slight variations, and changing up like the formula in which, you know, a solution is produced. Like it's not cookie cutter, but the patternings are very eye-opening. So this is quite powerful, with the first true card coming out as, you know, a major arcana. And everything is in reversal right now. So this newness is kind of like, it's not just turning heads, but turning worlds upside down, and therefore turning heads by default. Okay. And everyone's looking forward. Like this is like a different kind of spirit energy. They're like, oh, change is occurring. But this is more of like an uplifting, like curious, you know, type of energy, intrigued energy by all parties, rather than like, oh, this motherfucker want to change this. Oh, you know, like it's not flipping a bitch like that. It's not flipping that switch. No trigger to it. So 9 of Wands in reverse, or 9 of Fire in reverse. Again, it's kind of like clearing the room. You know, it's cleaning the slate by clearing the room. Like people know that, like as I step, like within this energetic, as I step into the room, the energies change, and so it's kind of like it becomes questionable for people who have become all too familiar and comfortable and complacent in their lives. So some people don't show up, or it takes a while for them to show up. There's some kind of hesitation before showing up, and so that's what we're seeing here. It kind of clears the room, cleans the slate, even for if it's like for a certain like time delay. That's what's occurring here. It's like a semi forfeit, if I have to say. Excuse me. So this is nice because it's like, if you're gonna cause shit, then like why are you like, don't bring that here, you know, hang that coat, like check that coat at the door. But here it's kind of like saying, don't even check that at the door. Don't even show up. Like, so some people are also like kind of lingering and staying home and staying within their own energies instead of showing up. Just like that delay that's incurred, what's happening is like some people will be like, oh fuck no, I'm just gonna like show up whenever, like, you know, I feel called to, or whatever. Like So they are asserting themselves in a different manner within their personal lives. So that's still within their control. Um, and so it's like, you know, this is not meant to be an insult, but when you have a toddler that's like all crazy, and they're kind of mischievous in one arena. Sometimes the art of distraction is very, very good in allowing them to exert their energies and like diffuse them in another facet of the environment, so that it's just, sometimes you observe what people need and then you cater to them without having to do like the dialogue of Q&A. And so that's what we're seeing here. This is kind of like a deterrent type of energy, so people can take more control into their lives and utilize whatever bullshit they were going to carry out in this like umbrella, this like, you know, under the same roof. They're going to apply themselves to their, like, you know, invest in themselves or invest in other things. So it throws the decision back into their lap, rather than just saying, oh, the ball's in your court, we're playing this game. No, this is your game, okay? This is your arena, this is your stage. And so, like, by subconsciously speaking, we're just saying, like, the universe is saying, like, you'll do better with this little, like, snafu, okay? So with even like the tiniest part of like elevating oneself through, you know, showing up for oneself, um it's so much better than how much bullshit they would have, you know, done under this certain umbrella. So it's very good. It's like um there's an area of like nudging people, you know, kindly reminding them in its PC terms, but like not being manipulative. You know, you let people figure it out on their own, but it's kind of like nudging people in the right direction, and then like scooting over like some of the resources that could, you know, like FYI, you know. So it's a gentler, like softer approach in this. And, you know, I know that this is 100% true in its polarity on the inbox side, with getting like so much support, healing support, Archangel Raphael, and, you know, all of those things that we talked about. So I just know this because it's done with like such a like a thoughtful, softer hand, but firm in its intention. Yeah. hmm So yeah, this is kind of like single parent energy. Like, you have to be stronger in order to represent dual sides or varying aspects of what a child would need to um, face the world, face the forces, like to be reckoned with, you know, if need be. So yeah, that's what that is. Okay, so we're taking a look at this objectives and its resources. Okay, anything? Okay. So Mother of Water in reverse and the Path in reverse, or the Hermit card in reverse. Lots of things that are in reversals here. Okay. So Queen of Cups in reverse and the Hermit card in reverse. So there's a sense of awareness and areas of insecurities, and taking back the power, and not so much as like the tug of war with another force on the other end. This is like taking back the power by, like, if you have insecurities about yourself, you really need to explore that. So this is an awareness, like, oh shit, like I should be taking care of myself. You're right. Like I could really use a bubble bath right now. You know, like fucking blow some bubbles in the bubble bath water. You know, I yeah, there's a whole arena of that, like people who like love getting their nails done, like and they've like worked so hard to the point where everything's looking pretty crummy at that point, and it's like, you know what? No, you're right. I need to like catch up to myself. So it's that. hmm Filling back your own cup. So this Queen of Cups, thankfully, even though there's like some insecurities, there's also you're talking about the light at the end of the tunnel, but it's like within. They found like what really sparks them. So so it's not just with given time or given the right logistics, the right scenario, that these people will, find agreement in these methods. But what were we going to say about this? It's self-recognition. Yeah, definitely. Okay. So what that means is that it's kind of putting a mirror in front of other people, and so as not to piss them off, like, I'm not always the mirror. It's giving them like symbolic reflections of themselves, as well, so, like supplementary material, to further cement what their needs are. So when we're talking about self-recognition, it's recognizing like what your part in in your life. And so that's kind of just opening up the awareness to others, like feeling the undercurrents. The other interpretation is feeling the undercurrents of what others' needs are, per path, per case. You see, like it's the same angular position, so it's the same common goal with forces of nature, whether that be light or water. I mean, this is kind of like thunderous, and it's it's like thunder and lightning kind of energy, but it's well mediated within its fractions of its appearance. So it's, how we saw like the Seven of Swords, like as above, so below, that kind of like tower, like thunder, just that forceful type of energy. It's kind of like that, but these are fractioned off to give more of an experiential enhancement, so we can remember our lessons better. So it's kind of like romanticizing it within its like Mother Gaia sense. Yeah. So what they're saying is we're Mother Gaia's, Mother Earth's children. So we're in essence like the snapshots that we, with the things that we do are almost like memorabilia, like energetic imprints that kind of soften this planet. Like it amplifies like the love, like it's all worth something. So it's a dual support system in its like multi-angular sense. Yeah, that's what they're saying. Like, it was worth it. All this toil and fertilizer. Yeah. Okay. Anything else that you want to say, my divine piano? Yeah. This is the fire element, Ace of Wands. This is a creation of you see? Like it was all worth it. It takes the village of, the solar system or galaxy, this arena to create such like a powerful force that adds to the reckoning, So this is a huge investment, each and every one of us here. This is, again, the Bell Project, okay. So, You know, like, this is the kind of light that's, when I felt like I misspoke when I said putting a light in my last reading, putting a light under things. Um, I corrected myself in putting a light over things, but this one, this imagery is showing me more of like the hue of putting like a flashlight under maybe like your thumb, and it has that same kind of like glow and hue to it. So it's really like your thumbprint, basically, like putting like a light underneath your, yeah, your very being. Like, just to see, like, just like mentally speaking, it opens up new worlds for you, like with that, like, old school kid like quality before like all of these like distractions arose. Like, people were naturally curious, like, oh, look, check this out, Dina, look at, like, look at your fingers underneath, you know, this flashlight or whatever. The thumb is the thickest, but it's still like there's a sense of like opening up your mind to like the idea of transparency and how life is so fragile that um um it bears no consequence nor like bias, like this light, you know, beaming through one's own digits, basically. So it's like you understand and respect, you know, the mysterious nature of different elements and powers. So that's what it's showing me here. Holy smokes. Okay, bottom of the deck is Page or Maiden of Water. So this is absolutely happy, like bringing the vibe. This is like birth, you know, like you have that circular sense, you know, right here. But it's like it's busting out, but like this is not like busting out with elbows. This is, you know, this is joyous. This is bringing out, this is like surprise. That type of energy. It's flawless and it's energetic, you know. Bottom or top of the deck, no secret to my saucies. Maiden of Air in reverse, Page of Swords in reverse. Again, a lot of reversals within these characters, within these energetics. This is a community, but this is also the energetic, like that's transferable in your learning pursuits. So there's upcoming learnings, like it's ongoing. There may be some liars like in the mix, but like it's so much easier to identify who those are, like who those, you know, where those areas of concern are. Not, we're not going to isolate who, we're going to talk about the areas of concern that we may all be troubled with at certain points in our lives. So anyway, Page of Swords in reverse. There's upcoming learnings for all, but this is like also being objective and detached with what this is definitely observation mode. So objective and detached from what you perceive your role to be in like a study buddy or a, what do you call it? Is it apprentice? Yeah. What's beneath that? Yeah, Ace of Pentacles. Again, the making of the man. It's really identifying with like being open-minded with why you're here, you know? What am I supposed to take from this world? What am I supposed to like, what is my influence? What is my area of influence through the seasons? So do you see that? Like, so the objectivity, the detachment is almost necessary to kind of simplify the things that we're receptive to. You know what I mean? Like, it's I feel like that's just the way to say it, okay? Bottom of the Maiden of Water is the Five of Cups in reverse. So this is like, this is these are proper goodbyes, but this is also like, you know, like this is, how do I, like, you're not sweating it, basically. Like when it's like, oh, I have issues sweating, let me tell you. But in the summer, it's definitely, I'm just gonna simplify it, you know, it's so much more cooling to, you know, be in the water. So why am I saying this? I don't even remember now. Oh yeah, like it's like kind of like no stress, don't sweat it. Like I've said goodbye, my proper goodbyes. I don't have anybody to answer to and explaining it. I'm open to explaining it because I'm in this vibe, but at the same time, like I don't think it's necessary. I think like bringing this vibe in its like super amplified form, that's authentic. Like you're really really in it. This is like it dissolves the questions like of other people that don't understand, you know, like you don't, well, I'm going to repeat what other psychics have said, you know, like the phrasing, like you don't look like what you've been through. And so sometimes like you welcome that energy, like this person is super successful in overcoming whatever. That you don't have to pull the 20 questions. Like, it's a wonder how they did it. But I'll just latch on to what this vibe is because it seems to solve like a lot of shiz, you know? I tried one's own strength, but you know, you also are all become in the occultist measures, you become more careful with your words, your intentions. So there's a strengthening of that, you know, upon saying goodbye, finding that closure. So there's not just character development, but also skill development within one's own personal, yeah, like you have to like say goodbye to like the conflict, the triggers, the, you know, that stuff, the predictable bullshits. So it's like blocked off like learnings and energy to assess what needs to be done, to find proper closure and, you know, move on with a lighter step. Yeah, splish splash for that energy. All right, I feel like that's enough. It's already 37:33 on the clock. I feel good about all of this. Well, you know what? Is there anything that I must know for this? Like, I think, I think no. I think they've told me like kind of in between the lines. I think what they wanted to do was highlight the other energetics surrounding me. Like put a bug in my ear to just kind of um being more mindful of other key players. Like they're just as important. How do I say it? This is how do I say it? I think when you see the energetics of what other people are going through, when their souls speak to you on a level that they're not consciously aware of, they may or may not be, but more often not. It like you come up with better solutions because there's no like you know you're working with other sentients, and so there's just a respect for other life forms. So the last thing you would want to do is incur similar pain that they were able to how do I say it, you know, like it's just better to amplify what's good. What's better, actually. And so I think those are the methods with this like beautifying project, and like this notification that change can be quite beautiful too. I feel like that. It sounds a little corny, but for sure. All right, so I have one head count here, so I'm gonna do a takeaway for you. Okay? Alrighty. What's your takeaway? 41-2 on the clock. The full card in reverse. It's called the Summerlands. So your takeaway. I suppose you're one of these energetics, huh? I mean, this could be like Persephone type of energy traveling through the underworld. So there is movement. There's no stagnancy. It may look like that from like critical eyes on the outskirts, or even critical eyes on like the internal view. Like, what am I doing here? You know, like, what am I doing? Like, what's going on? So, yeah, this is still movement, but underground. You know, these are secret pathways, secret passages. Interesting. All right, so I want to get a clarifier for that because it just feels like that's enough to say. Eight of Cups in reverse. This is a comeback. Yeah, so this is a revisitation of like the darker realms and the primordial force. So like so I'm getting some kind of inclination to stir the pot. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that. Like one is invested. You see, hold on, let me show you. You see? You see like his hand right there, and then there's some kind of connection to that, like yeah, like I support this cause. I want to see what happens. Yeah. So there's a like a slight sense of danger in it, but it's more like spontaneity, which adds to like the comeback flavor. You know, that sounds so horrible. You know, like gameplay, like the playback, like it's kind of like that energy where so you think so, like a player is retired and then they're like coming back out onto the field. That's what I'm talking about, okay? That's what I intended to talk about. Holy smokes! All right, okay. So what are my 3 takeaways? Holy smokes! First takeaway is 8 of Swords in reverse. You are freed. You are freed. This is like you're freed from the timelines and the agendas and the you're just freed from the constraints of others. In this whole scenario, like you are free from that. Like you can still influence, but you are free from those implications, insinuations, alibis, agendas, all of that. Like they may still exist in their attempts, but you are free from that. Like it's like, yeah, it's kind of like Venus flytrap energy, but this is like I'm the catcher's mitt, you know, in the underworld. You see, you're gonna when you cross paths with me, like I've caught you, and so it's like, you know what I mean? Like this is kind of like, yeah. Yeah, that's what they're saying. Holy smokes, that's crazy weird. Okay, I want to get a clarifier for that because that is like one funky like visual to that. 4 of Wands, yeah. So it's integrating what I have learned, what I have downloaded from your material, and you cross paths with me, and kind of like digesting on that, like holding you hostage for just a bit, in like this home and hearth type of energy, like it's safe. Don't worry, I'm not gonna kill you. This is just kind of like lab work, you know? Not just lab work in its experimental sense, but also lab work like drawing blood, like identifying, like, dude, you're okay. Like, I'm excellent at phlebotomy. We're okay. And so, yeah, you see this like red dot right there. Like, you will not be able to find where to put the Band-Aid or the cotton because I did it so well. So, it's kind of harmless in that pursuit. Interesting. Okay, so that's my first takeaway. My second takeaway is Mahom. I think that's how to pronounce it. I don't know. Mahom. It's 11. It's a justice card. You see? We talked about this. We talked about it. So this is like, mailman, do your duty. I have a date with a blah, blah, blah. So it's kind of like that. Why did I even say it like that? Holy smokes. Why did I say it like that? I don't remember. Justice. Oh, do your duty. Yeah, you're doing justice. Like, you're doing, this is correct. You're on schedule, on path, and timely execution. Like, it's very well organized, this like justice thing here. I feel like this is very new in its softer hand approach. Anyway, all right, what's the clarifier for that? Second takeaway, 7 of Swords in reverse. It's quite magical, you see. This is balanced weights, you know? Instead of like, it's like the calibration of your wheels, basically. So it's no BS that the vehicle in which you like navigate in is important, like to also maintain and assess to its like very basic forms. Let's say the wheels, you know, calibration. So you can't just pop on a pair of wheels. It also takes calibration. So therefore, like tire rotation. I don't know, something like that. So there's something like very homely in this like justice approach, which applies to like other like the applicate what we've talked about thus far. Yeah, this is like the love language in the acts of service and discernment. So this is not just like words of like affirmation, like the talking about it. This is the act of service, and with like an etheric like touch to it. So yeah, so like it's also sensory, extra sensory, within like, you know, touch or physical like means are also in play here. Yeah. Interesting. Okay, so that's my second takeaway. What's my third takeaway? 6 of Swords in reverse. So this is like really calming a situation down. This is like similarly speaking, and it's no insult whatsoever, but this is like the dynamic if like you've stayed healthy throughout your pregnancy, and you've done like blood tests or whatever, etc. You're like, everything's wonderful and great, but then when you have your baby, I don't think there's any kind of explanation as to why the baby would have colic. It's COLIC, I believe. And it's like it can incur a lot of frustration for any like leader to manage like the resolution for. So in its sense, like this is a maturation of those type of energies that have there's some kind of sometimes inexplicable force that causes like, you know, a disturbance within how other people respond to the world. So it's kind of like, it's kind of soothing that like it's going to be okay. It's going to like, so you're finding out their needs and they can't quite talk about it just yet, and it's just like, you know, it's that. So like you're reaching like for, you know, all of like, so it's like a lot of studies here But again, the cat is reminding. So there's like a Queen of Wands type of studious energy here, and it's gray matter, 100%. Okay, so my what's the like clarifier for that? The double card in reverse. So like this is not being judgmental nor controlling or obsessive about how things roll out. And all the more validation to be detached from your investments under the same umbrella. Like you are doing the universe's good. Just because the immediacy of other like energetics are not quite like patting you on the back for it, or like they may be doing like doing you a little dirty or whatever, playing like these games, you know, like you've been in several places, and it's just like, you know, you have no excuse. By the way, I have represented myself and what I've invested here. You have no excuse to be acting like that. So you can't call me an enemy. You cannot do harm to me. And if you do, there are major consequences, but that's not the focus here, okay? this is really just like being like Tina being very good with herself and how on what her inputs are and what her takeaways are. That's my story here. That's keeping within my own lane, but also like cheering like my own lane, looking at somebody else's lane from this, like I'm on the sidelines, like I'm like their automatic audience, you know what I mean, like their automatic cheer crowd. So it's just looking at life like that within this snapshot here. And I feel like that's good to end on right now, because like I feel like chills right over here that are good. And let me drink the rest of my tea. It's good. So you know, I've noticed that one thing that I will say, I'm going to be a little vague on this, but people will know what I'm talking about when they hear it. Within like its most personal sense. I'm at the level now when I realize that people are doing me dirty or they've done something, you know, bad. And I no longer push it off to the side, like giving, you know, them the benefit of the doubt. They know. They know when I have firmly assessed that there was fuckery involved. And it does not need to involve a conversation. In fact, there might be an aversion to any type of like dialogue behind it. They know they've been caught, you know. They know, and so like, you know, their MO has been, why complicate things? But at the same time, the simplification of that phrasing has, like, there's no substance behind it, you know, because a lot of the actions have shown not to really be in ultimately their favor, like their best standing. So that's all that I will say for that. So there's no heartbreak here. I know just ways in which to do better. But it's not to say that I didn't do any good. So, you know, I'm doing fine. All right, that's it for now. Thanks very much for all donations provided in and of light and love that reciprocate equally, and therefore abundantly. But now that this reading is officially over, I call back all my power, energy, essence, gifts, strength, passions from those that call upon, cast, generate, bring, magnify, multiply, and or any variation thereof the aforementioned ill will, intent, thought from pattern, and or entity to pass through the white light of the Holy Spirit for cleansings, for blessings, for refortification in me, only me, hassle-free, no doubt, and no attachment, except for all bonus points included. Thanks so much. Upon closing the portals in this reading, I send all energies back to their appropriate locations outside of mine with their appropriate karmas due, assisting with a sequence of rollout, In Light and Love. I close the portals. Endless reading.